it is difficult to complete in 1 hour, but we will try to complete in the 1 hour. So let's start with the webinar. So before that, I want to ask those who are those whose videos is turned on, please, my sincere request, please turn off their video, because it is creating difficulty for you also and for others, because as we know that we all are working from the home location, so there may be possibility that some bandwidth, the error in the bandwidth. So to access it smoothly, please turn off your video. I can see Manish Patel. Please turn off your video. And others, those who have turned on their video, please put off your videos. Let's start with the webinar. So you can post your questions in the chat box, which will be answered post the webinar. Thank you.
Tool axis definition. Okay, so we will go through some basics and tool axis definitions with examples. So my name is Rajesh Khanna, Senior Application Engineer. I'm looking after pre-sales activity in south part of India. So let's move to our session today. So this topics covered. The first is actually for the new 5-axis users. The basic rules in 5-axis configuration first. Then we see some of the tool axis definitions with some examples, and we also going to see swap configuration or orientation, which is a useful one. The next one is automatic collision avoidance. Then also we cover some of the topics under dynamic machine control. Also we go through polar milling or drilling operations. Okay, let's move to our basic rules in 5-axis configuration. Okay, for any 3-axis, the right-hand rule is our general terminology. Our thumb finger is x-axis, and our index finger is y, and our middle finger is z. That is any 3-axis concept. So when it comes to the 5-axis, we have some other axes are coming inside, which is a rotary axis mostly. If you look at the view here at the x-axis, if the axis is rotating along with the x-axis, it is a-axis belongs to that, and the b-axis belongs to y, and c-axis belongs to z-axis. And you can just see the positive direction from the way you are which you are looking from. If you are looking towards the x-axis, it will be a counterclockwise. But if you see from the origin along x-axis, the rotation is negative if it is clockwise. Okay, so that is the basic of any 5-axis concepts. Let's move in depth with that. Actually, we usually say the word called vectors. It's generally for 3-axis. It's a 3-axis image. You just think there is a point at the tool end. It is P1, and there is a point at P2. Which is at the it's actually the spindle side. So X, Y, Z axis. So mostly, as it is a vertical machining center concept, it is lying along Z. So IJ value, if you look at, is I0, J0, and K1. That is actually pure vertical. The vectors usually represents between 0 and 1. Okay, so that is a main thing you have to be concentrate. So let's move more into 5-axis. So how, if you tilt, how the vectors will get changed. Okay, the same point P1 is at the center of the tool bottom, and P2 is somewhere at the space. So for this example, I had given x minus 0.5. That means it's an incremental of I actually, and j is 0.5. It is incremental of y, and k is 0.7. 071, it is incremental of Z. So what does it mean actually? So we had given the value for this X, Y, Z as an incremental with the value of I, J, K, 0.5, 0.5 and 0.7071. So how it will be converted as an angle actually? If we had given vectors form, but if you look at the angle in the form of angle, from the x-axis, it is rotated about minus 39 degree, 0.23 something, and about y it is 24.09, and z minus 18.43. It is general calculation, and it's actually what we had given in the toolpath is mostly we are giving in the vectors, but it will consider as an angle. But if you are interested in elevation and azimuth angles, for this same vector values, mostly it will be elevation angle will be almost 45 degree and azimuth is 45 degree. So that is the main concept of this particular value, I, J, K. For this value, vector value, the elevation angle will be 45 and azimuth value will be 45 degree. So based on this, we can calculate the vectors. Consider this vector length is 1. Also, the value cannot be more than 1. It will be between 0 and 1. Okay. So that is the main concept of this. What is meant by azimuth and elevation? Okay. So most of the peoples, they may know about this, but for refresh it, if you look at the azimuth and elevation, in this particular diagram, your viewing point from here, example, the azimuth is the rotation around the principal axis. That means only in the z-axis, azimuth angle. At the same time, if you look at the elevation angle, it's a tilt from x and y plane. If you see this elevation angle, it is in the space actually, not in the plane. It is between x and y, also in the somewhere in the space. So that is called elevation. The azimuth is just simply around z-axis in the plane, same plane. Okay, so this is the main concept of azimuth and elevation. Okay, so while we are going into our examples, we will see about this for in some examples. Okay, so these are the main concepts in 5-axis. And we will move to now tool axis definitions. So when we come to tool axis definitions, there are some few points are there. For this example, if you are using a swath machining, multi-axis drilling, blisk machining, or port machining, the tool axis will be automatic. So you don't need to consider much about, or you don't need to take care of that actually, about the tool axis, because it's automatic. So, but when we are coming to other toolpath strategies, we need to go for the tool axis page and need to change the tool axis direction. For that only we are deep diving into that. So the first one is vertical. It's a standard 3-axis. So people who know about this toolpath strategies, when you are using a 3-axis programming, you can able to notice that our tool axis will be always vertical. So the next one is lead bar lean. It is really a very useful one comparing with any other tool definitions, because it is having more flexible in this to rotate or tilt your tool axis. So what is meant by lead lean? It is basic definition is the tool axis is fixed relative to z-axis of the active work plane. It's very simple. I will show you what it is mean actually. First, what is meant by lead? The tool angle relative to z in the direction of travel. Sorry. So if you look at the video below, the first video, you can see the tool axis is falling either side of the travel actually. Okay, it won't go either perpendicular to the direction. It is flowing the same direction. Okay, you can able to see that tool path flow and tool axis. It is following the same path and it is that particular tool axis is falling in the same direction only, flow. But when comes to the lean, the tool angle relative to Z, but it will fall perpendicular in the direction of travel. You can see here, the same, the tool angle I had given is, both are same, it is 20 degree. And but if you see the movement here, it is the first one and second one, you can able to understand easily how the tool path is. The tool path is very simple tool path. It's a straight line. So, but if you look at the tool axis, it is falling either side of the flow in the lean, and it is flowing in the flow direction in the lead. So that is the main concept in this. Let's move to our one of the example of this. Okay, simple concept here, a simple box. Okay, so I had given lead angle as 20 degree. So if you go to the tool axis page, it's a pattern finishing toolpath strategy. I had selected lean page. Okay, I had given lead as 20 degree. So that means the tool axis is falling in the same direction. Maybe you can give minus 20 or plus 20 to change negative or positive angles. Okay. At the same time, if you look at the lean angle, I had given the same, but from the vertical, my tool axis is minus 20 here. Okay, minus 20 to fall perpendicular to the flow. So I'm just simulating the first one. If you go and give a start, make a control my speed slow, you can see here it is falling just either side of the same flow. Okay, but at the same time, if you go to the lean angle, if you simulate the same, if you see, it will fall just either side of that actually. Okay, that's perpendicular to that flow. For simple example, if you go to the side view of this, I'm going to create a tool path for machining this one of the surface. If you look at the tool here, I'm just press Ctrl T to enable this. Function. This tool will hit when it is going to the bottom of the reach. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm creating a simple tool path using a surface finishing tool path strategy to machine that particular area. So I'm selecting here a surface finishing strategy. In this one, I'm selecting the tool path. Before moving into calculation, I recommend you to preview any of the tool axis. Actually, when you coming to the 5-axis strategy, you preview before calculating the strategy, so that it will give you an overall idea how the tool path will go in the flow actually. So here I'm changing my pattern as V and I'm previewing again. So now it is fine, and then I'm changing my ordering as two-way, and I'm calculating it. Okay. Now, if you see this, and by selecting the simple surface finishing strategy, you can be able to create. But if you look at the lead angle here, my lead angle is minus 20. So if you just select any of the tool segment and go to your tool path and simulate from start, if you are satisfied with this angle, you can go ahead, or you can change to maybe you want minus 70. You don't need to tilt this much. You can calculate again. Sorry, you can select the surface, and if you calculate it, you can able to see this tool tilt angle here. It's other way actually. Okay, so what you have to do is just go to the positive direction and calculate again. You can able to see now your tool path is sorry. So go back to this one. Okay, 70 degree here. Okay, so if you look at from the side view, it is 70 degree here. So you can simply create your toolpath by using the lead and lean angle. Let's move to our next toolpath definition. Now we are going towards point tool definition. It's actually the tooltip will be always pointed towards a fixed point here. Okay, if you look at the job here, your user defined point is inside the part. So where the tool tip is facing always towards the point. Here, the angle of the tool is constantly changing. Okay, so if the point varies, you can control the tool axis based on that. Okay, so let's move to this example again. Okay, here I'm just going to my side view and switch off all my tool paths and go to the wireframe view. And at the same time, I'm going to switch on my tool axis. Where is my tool axis? Okay, if you look at the view here, the first tool path is actually is 50 mm height. I will show you in the tool axis page later. The point is lying here. Actually, you can able to see the red color point here. So in the second one is 70 mm. So it is just above. The 0 point is at the below actually. So my tool axis point is lying here. It's just 20 mm above the previous tool path. And the third one is still above 10 mm. It is 80 mm here. Okay. So how it works actually. So you go to the 50 mm height first. Select the last segment and go to the simulate start from here. You can able to see the tool angle is tilted based on the point given. Okay. The height is 50 mm. The tool point is always facing the towards point option in this one. In the second one, if you select the same 70 mm height with the same segment, the tool axis is almost perpendicular actually. That means perpendicular to the Z axis. That means the point is here. So the tool tip is facing here actually. So the third one is 80 mm. Okay, so what will happen? If you take the last point and you can say this, it is now actually go beyond our perpendicular limit. That means minus limit. Okay, so if the machine having this option, we can go ahead, or we have to stop before 90 degree. So how I had given this controlling these points, just open any of the toolpath strategy here. So as I told you, before proceeding your toolpath calculations, you have to preview it. So where it is going to be machined. So that is the most important one. So the toolpath strategy which I had using here is a point projection finishing. So in the point projection, I had given a style toolpath flow as spiral, and the tool location is actually X0, Z0, Y0 and Z is 70 mm height. That means from my 0, Z is 70 mm. It is face, not this point actually. The point is at the tool axis page. Here, if you preview it, you can able to see a pattern is created here. So that means until where the toolpath is going to generate. Okay, so I stopped till 70 mm here. Okay, so let's say if you put 30 mm here, what will happen? If you preview it, the same thing only, the pattern is moving down. So that means the toolpath will generate till here actually, this area. Okay, now it is stopped here because I had given 70 mm. But if you put 30 mm from the bottom, the toolpath will generate till here. Okay, so here I am saying inward. That means my toolpath, tool axis point is inside the this part. So I'm saying direction is inward. It is projecting inwards. Okay, so my step over is here. When it comes to the pattern page, here you're having spiral, and you can change to clockwise or counterclockwise here. And my limits is here you can see the elevation angle. Okay, it is XY plane. That means the space XY. So I had given as 90. Okay, if you change to 45 degree, preview it, you can able to see it is started from 0. That means 0 is here and it is 45 degree. So the toolpath will not generate in this area. Okay, it will just create the toolpath between 0 and 45. If you change to maybe 45 to maybe 90 and preview it again, so you can see this toolpath will generate between these angles only. So it is very easy to control, but you just enter the limits, your pattern, preview it before calculating the toolpath. Okay, that is the most important one. So when it comes to the tool axis, where we are concentrating on, it's a towards point option I had given. As I said earlier, my point is inside my path, and my 50 mm is my point location. That is what I had given in the toolpath name, 50 mm. Okay, that is from the 0, my tool axis point is here, where I'm telling the power mill to generate the toolpath based on the point my tool tip have to be faced towards this point. That is the main concept here. Okay, so if you see the 70 mm height I had given here is 70, and towards 80 it is 85 something. Sorry, it is 85 actually. So like that you can change your tool axis point and you can generate the tool path, and also you can have the control points over the pattern location. This is a towards point option. Next we come to the from point option. Okay, so it is very clear now. Actually the point is away from the object or part. Here also the tool tip always pointed away from the fixed point. Okay, it's here also the tool angle constantly changes. Okay, so let's move to the project here. Let's see how I had generated it. It's a from point option. Okay, so this is my part. If you look at the dynamic section of this, you can see that this part is somewhere here. It is I'm going to vision. This is the area I want. It's totally undercut. Here I had given one simple tip for this. One is actually we all know very good in 3-axis, right? We know the characteristics of that. We know how it will flow, the toolpath flow. So it is better, I recommend you to start with the 3-axis toolpath strategy, and you can just change your tool axis and generate the 5-axis programming. So that is the most easiest one, because you already well know about that strategy. Okay, it is not necessary you must have to create, or you must have to generate a toolpath using a 5-axis strategies like point projection, line projection, surface projection, like that. You can select any of the toolpath, 3-axis toolpath strategy, and change the tool axis based on the tool definitions and the path profile, and you can convert into a 5-axis strategy. Okay. So coming back here, the first toolpath I had created is a pattern finishing toolpath strategy. So I'm not going to use this toolpath anymore. Actually, it's just I'm creating a reference tool. Actually, a reference toolpath. Okay. So so here, if you see, it's the tool is a tipped disc. Actually, it's had given a tipped disc. It's without shank. Okay. 16 mm is my diameter and my radius is 8 mm. Okay, the height is 16. So it is spear, simple spear. So it is not possible to have the tool, but what I am going to create a tool path using this particular type of tool, and based on the tool path generation, I'm going to use that in the pattern finishing. Okay, so I'm using here projection line finishing. Okay, see here I'm just having wireframe view. Here, if you see that again, the line projection is location is x0, y0, z0, doesn't matter because it is just center of the path. Then azimuth and elevation angle is 0, 0. Just preview it what it is happening. Okay, so once you enter the value, preview it where it is going to be generated. Okay, that is more important. You can see this simple line projection. It is just projecting around the path. Okay, if you change the elevation angle or azimuth angle, it will change the direction also. If you say if your elevation is 90, if you preview, the toolpath will generate in this form, but here our job is in horizontal. So I had given 0 here. So preview it, and I'm saying projecting outwards. That means as my plane is outside, the pattern plane is outside, I'm projecting the tool facing towards the plane. Okay, that's why I'm selecting outward here. Step over and you can go to the pattern page, and style you can select. In the limit page again comes to back, where is my starting angle, starting height and ending height. Okay, here is my 0 at the top, so my -9 to -79. So you can see the pattern is started from -9 to -79, but still doesn't matter that I have given a surface to stop it. So the toolpath won't extend beyond that surface. Okay, it is inside. I had given that surface. So this surface is less than 79. Okay, it's fine. You can control it with the same height also. It is okay, fine for us. Okay, so if you see the simulation of this, okay, it's a simple ball. We cannot use the toolpath, okay, because there is no shank. It is not possible to run this. Okay. If you look at from the side view, it's just simply creating a ball toolpath actually based on that. Okay, so he had created the toolpath. You can see it is flowing simply based on the flow of the surface. So once I complete this, now I'm going to use the same toolpath in the pattern finishing toolpath strategy. Okay. In my pattern finishing, the first toolpath, it is pure vertical. Okay, I had not given any tool axis here. If you see my settings here at the first toolpath, you can see my tool axis is vertical. Just I'm selecting this ball tool, sphere tool, and I had just completed the toolpath here. Now I'm going to use this toolpath as reference in the pattern finishing strategy, and my tool axis is from point. Okay, if you see my tool axis is from point, it is 15 mm from above. Okay, my 0 is here, and 15 mm is above the above the plane, XY plane. Okay, so so here if you come to the pattern finishing toolpath, okay, in the drive curve, I'm using toolpath as reference. That means the previously we generated it. Okay, right? Pattern reference. I'm going to use as a toolpath instead of pattern. Okay, here I'm using a toolpath as pattern. Okay, just calculate it in the sense. So what it will do here, I'm using a actual ball nose tool. Okay, but my path have to be follow the pattern finishing pattern reference which I had given earlier. Okay, now see what will happen. Okay, if you go to the simulation, okay, and just control my speed here. See now based on the point, okay, it won't move away from the point. It just follow the point with the fixed point, and it will follow the pattern which we had given earlier. Okay, that from the pattern reference. So it's simply created. It's a very simple toolpath to generate. Okay, so it's a simple toolpath to create for using a pattern finishing. Okay, so as I told you earlier, you can use any of the 3-axis strategy to convert into a 5-axis strategy by using its tool axis definitions. Okay, right here I'm using created another toolpath by using a surface finishing strategy. For this, I'm not giving any references. Okay, simply I'm selecting the surface and generating the toolpath here. For this, I had not using any of the toolpath reference, nothing else. Okay, so here just selected the surface, preview it, and your tool axis is same as previous actually, but from point option 15 mm from the XY plane. Okay, the toolpath exactly comes the same as before. Okay, if you look at the toolpath, is similar like before. So that means it is not a single toolpath in PowerMill you can able to create. There are multiple toolpath strategy can apply for the same profile based on your interest and tool axis definition. You can take it. I will show you another example here. It's a constant Z finishing. It's everyone knows about this. Okay, same ball nose tool, but here if you go into the tool axis page, the same thing only. But here I'm given as one this one. I checked on my undercut option, and my tool axis definition is same from point option. We cannot change this because for this particular profile, we have to control the point because the total profile is undercut. Okay. At the same time, it having opposite profile also, we cannot interfere the tool with that surface from point. But the only thing is I ticked undercut option. Again, you can create the same tool path. You can see here, and if you see the simulation here for this, you can see the same tool path can be created in the form of previous tool paths. Okay, so the same profile, only the tool axis definition is same, but we are giving a 3 type of tool path strategies to complete this. So it's a wonderful example that we can convert a 3-axis strategy into a 5-axis strategy just by changing its tool axis definition. Okay, so it's stopping here. I'm going to switch on my wireframe, MTD file. I'm changing my simulation location. Okay, so if you see the simulation of this, switch on my 3D profile. So start from simulate. So if you look at that, it will go beyond that actually. Sorry, the tool simulation is somewhere at the bottom. We'll check it out, that one. Okay, anyway, that tool axis simulation page I had selected here. Switch on my active my MTD file. Now you can see able to see my part is above the table. If you simulate this part, you can see it's purely taking the undercut option here. Okay, that's a simple example of towards the from point option. So the next one is towards line. Then in here also the tooltip always pointed towards the line. Most of the 4-axis tool paths is generating based on this tool axis definition. Okay, if you look at the image here, mostly it will be used for the cylindrical components. You can see the tool axis is lying exactly center of the cylindrical axis, and the tool axis is just following the axis here. For this, I have an example here. So if you look at the example of a simple 4-axis tool path, okay. So my tool axis is just lying along the cylindrical axis, and if you look at the machine tool view, and if you simulate the tool path, and I'm changing my machine simulation per plane, it's just coming outside. And I'm just simulating this tool path here, starting from first. So it's just moving simple tool path as like this. because my tool axis is just lying center of the cylinder. It's very simple toolpath creation. Go back to your toolpath strategy here. Under this, I had using here as a surface finishing strategy. You can use any of the toolpath strategies like flow line finishing or projection line finishing, whatever it is. Here I'm using a surface finishing option where my tool axis is towards line. Okay. My point is 0, 0, 0 because it is lying in the center of the cylindrical axis. At the same time, if you see the direction is actually X is 1 and that means I is 1, J is 0 and Z is 0. That means it is parallel to your x-axis. Your tool axis is parallel to x-axis. That's why I put here 1, 0, 0. If your table is placing along y-axis, you put 0, 1, 0. And if your c-axis is lying along with the z-axis, you have to put 0, 0, 1. That means almost VMC, vertical machining center configuration. So this is the one of the example for towards line option. It's very simple. Just create a tool axis at the center of the cylinder, and you can select any of the toolpath strategies like surface finishing, flow line finishing, or you can use a pattern finishing to cut as a roughing toolpath by using a center line pattern to complete form actually. Okay, back to our slide. So from this here we are moving to from line option. The same thing, from line. If you see this image at the left, the tool axis is lying away from the part. Okay, the user defined axis. The tool tip always pointing towards the line. So the example shown in the right, we are going to see an example in the power mill also. Okay, so this is one of the example here. I'm switching on my machine tool file here also. Go to the simulate from start, and you can check your actual datum. You have DMG50, so I just move to the center of the bed. Okay, so if you simulate this, you can see here this will flow based on the center of the line. You can see that the tool path will not go away from that, just following its axis actually. Why we are doing this? There are some undercut profiles are there here. You can see able to see here. To do this, we are changing its tool axis from vertical to from line option to complete that profile. Okay, so what we had given here in the tool axis page, go to the settings. Simply I'm using a line projection option. Okay, in this one I'm specifying my location of the just switch off my machine tool for a while. I'll show you more clearly where is my pattern is projecting. Just preview it. You can able to see now where I want to project the toolpath. Okay, this is more important. If it is not clear, if you are not previewing it, that simply the toolpath will be go here and there. Okay, so it is very clear. I'm defining my pattern. What is the length of the pattern and in which way I have to do it. Okay, here I'm projecting outwards. Okay, so that means my projection plane is outside. Okay, that circular plane. Here I had given azimuth as 0, elevation as 90. Okay, you can change and you can play it. Okay, you just put 0, preview it, and you can see the plane is totally different here. Okay, so based on that, your informations, preview it before proceeding the toolpaths. Okay, so at the same time, if you go to the pattern page, so I'm restricting my azimuth angle from -90 to +90. What is meant by that? Just simply change to 0 and preview it. See, this is the azimuth angle what I had given. So from 0 to 90 only it will do. So toolpath won't generate in the opposite phase. Okay. So I've given here minus 90 and my start height. That means, but where is my start position? 0. Actually, for this particular path, my 0 is here. So I'm starting from 0 and my part length is 200 mm. So I had given here 200. Okay. So I want to complete the whole profile, okay, in this lengthwise. Okay, so that is the main part of this thing. You just preview it before going to proceed the toolpath calculation. Okay, so this is the line projection option. It's simply you can create it by specifying the tool direction as towards that means here I am projecting as x-axis. Okay, so it's x-axis 100. So the next one, moving to from curve option, it's again the simple thing here. The tool always tries to point away from the curve, okay, because the curve is away from the part. Okay, here I'm having 3 examples. The main thing here is whatever the pattern you are creating must be a single segment. Okay, it cannot be a multiple segments. Okay, it should be a single pattern. Okay, at the same time you have a single segment of that particular pattern. Okay, let's move quickly into the example of this. So from curve, first example. Okay, here I had created 2 tool paths. One is traditional tool, the conventional or method, lead lean. Okay, so in this lead lean tool path, if you see, simply I'm selecting the surface. I'm using surface projection finishing strategy to do it by selecting the surface, and my tool axis is lead lean. Lead lean, it is 0, 0 here. Okay, so what will happen here? It is fine to create the tool path with this strategy. Okay, if you simulate, okay, you can see, able to see, I just control my speed here, simulate it again. You can able to see the tool axis is changing continuously, okay, over this area. So because of that, your cutting time also will go more. Okay, so what we can do it with here actually. Okay, so what I had given is projecting a simple curve. Okay, just draw a curve pattern with a single segment, and I had created a curve based on the curve. I'm using a tool path strategy. It is same surface projection finishing, but my tool axis I change from lead lean to from curve option. That means this is the curve I'm going to form. From that, I'm generated this tool path. Okay, if you see the simulation of this, it is more clear. The tool axis is more stable now actually until the next axis is going to be changed. Okay, here one change, second change is here, the third change is here. So only the tool direction is there. Otherwise, it is almost a linear action. Okay, so this is what we need to be create. We try to create with minimum C axis or B axis or any other rotary axis to be minimized so that we can cut our part very fast. Okay, so that is a simple example for this one, and we had a second example here. A second example is an same thing. Here I'm using an similar pattern. Okay, from line option. It is an undercut actually. If you see from this, it's a totally undercut here. Okay, we can't able to complete it in 3 axis. So for that, I'm using a simple curve. Okay, segment is single segment, simple curve. I'm using that tool axis definition. So what we'll do, it will just follow the curve here. Okay, just to speed up a little bit. Okay, I selected it's a surface finishing tool path strategy, but my tool axis is from curve and using this pattern for that. Okay, here see from curve, and this is my pattern to guide it. Okay, and I'm going to show you the third example here. Okay. So it's an impeller part. So people who are do not have the ultimate version, you can still able to machine the impeller by creating the curve over it. Here I had generated the curve something like that. I have two curve. One is just follow the curve for pattern finishing toolpath strategy. The another one at the top is my tool axis definition. Okay, so if you see the single tool path here, go to the settings page. For this, we have to create a single tool path. Then we can use the multiple transform option for the different blades. Okay, if you go to the tool axis page, I'm selected from curve. And my curve pattern is here. It's 1 actually. It is highlighted as red. Okay, sorry, orange. On in the tool axis page and the pattern finishing page, I had selected 1 as my pattern. Okay, there are 2 patterns here. One is for my pattern finishing. The another one is for tool axis definition. Okay, so very clear here. So if you see from curve, selected 1 as a tool axis definition. Okay. So if you just simulate this tool path, okay, it's not any bliss tool path or nothing else. It's a simple pattern finishing tool path. 3 axis almost we get, you already know it. Just changing its tool axis definition. You can just play it here. It's just changing the curve from totally. It will changing the characteristic of the tool path actually. Okay, see, it's how you can just simulate to the multiple tool paths here. I just transformed it. Okay, you can see that tool path here. It's more clear. It's a simple 3-axis tool path strategy, but how to control the tool axis. Okay, just simply running it. Okay, that's from option. Okay, let's move to our point again. So now it is towards curve, the same thing. Actually, the segment I had created in the simple example is here. It is at the center of the part and at the bottom actually, because it's my surface having undercut. So I want to face my tool tip towards the point. Okay, the same example and with the same this one. Okay, towards point. So next one is comes to the projection plane finishing. For this, it is not necessary to create a boundary or you need to specify any kind of selecting surface like that. We are just creating a planar from the projection plane finishing strategy itself and creating the tool path. This is more useful when you are not able to create a boundary over that, or we cannot able to create select a particular surface and to control within the surface. Just go back to Power Mill. I will show you that example. So plane finishing strategy. I'll just show you where I had created a tool path. Okay, you can see here. I want to create a tool path somewhere here, but it is difficult to generate a boundary or selecting the surface. If you select the surface, you have to select all 3, but it will flow all these areas. But I want to control within this. Okay, so how to control it? Just open my projection plane finishing strategy here. Go to wireframe view. Okay, just refresh it. Okay, now in the plane projection option, I'm specifying my location as 0, 0 and that minus 75. Preview it first. Doesn't matter what you had given the location. You preview it, then you will know what you had given, where the plane is projecting. Okay. Now the plane projection is inwards. That means from the tool point away from that, you are projecting inward. Okay. then my azimuth angle is 90 degree. If you don't know about the azimuth angle or elevation angle, don't care much. You just simply rotate and you can see the plane how it is changing. Okay, there is a slider bar is available here, and you can simply change your value of that. Okay, also you can change the elevation value also. Okay, more simple to view it. Okay, you just click preview and you can use the slider bar to project it. Okay, and select project inwards. And if you go to the pattern finishing, pattern page, you can specify your pattern direction, whether U or V. You just preview it. It will show you whether it is U or V. That's a flow. That is simply, it is a flow only. Or you want a two-way, or where you want to start, whether inside out or outside in, like that. Okay, and the plane dimension is here. Okay, so minus 32 plus 10. Okay, that means from the center. If you go to the previous toolpath here, go to the settings page again. If you see the pattern dimension here from clearly this view, just preview it. You can able to see that means minus 30. That means from 0. Okay, minus 32 plus 10, and my width is minus 32 plus 35. Okay, that is here to here. Okay, so this is the easiest way to view the planar of that. And if a tool definition is mostly lead lean, and from that lean also you can change your direction. That is also possible. Okay, from vertical, the mode is vertical actually. So lead lean. So if you just simply click anywhere in the toolpath and go to the simulate, you can able to see, you can just projecting that plane, and you are changing the lead lean option to tilt your tool axis, and you can able to create this kind of toolpath without selecting any boundary or surface. Okay, it's a useful toolpath for you. That's all in our tool axis definition. Here I'm moving into one important thing is actually swap configuration. Okay, swap configuration is nothing but, look at the picture here, left and right. The operator is standing in the same position, but if you look at the toolpath generated, okay, you can able to see the part in the first left-hand picture. Operator can able to see the part because the operation is taking towards him. Okay, so you can able to see very clearly what is happening. But in the second part, actually, it's the same toolpath. It doesn't matter. The finishing, everything is same, but operator can't able to see the part or the tool location where it is doing. Okay. So how to do it? This kind of configuration, same toolpath. You can just simply change your swap configuration option. You can able to change your rotary axis angle. Okay. So there are two options available. Okay. The first method is any of the toolpath strategies. You have machine axis control. Change your proposed orientation as from free to fixed direction. And you just click use orientation vectors calculated during simulation. So what will happen? Whatever the simulation is taking place, it is they will convert into vector, and you can see the same in your machine tool also. So here I'm using a minus 90 or 270 in the elevation angle. Okay. And my from component is 0, 0. Don't consider this one. Once you enter the angle, it always almost change the angle itself. Okay, so it's vector itself. Okay, so here I'm using an 270. This is the first method, or you can use plus 90 or minus 90 to change the table configuration. Okay, this is the first method. We are going to see it both. In the second method, activate the 5-axis toolpath which you have generated. Go under the machine tool page. You have a dynamic machine control option. Under that, you have a swap configuration option, and accept it. Okay. Let us see example of this actually, so that you may get more clear. I'm selecting here orientation. So here I'm using a surface projection toolpath. Okay. So what is happening? First, we will see what is happening in the toolpath before proceeding to the parameters. Okay. It's just simulating here. Okay. So if you see the simulation here a little bit fast, stop it here some for a while. I will just call my machine position, okay, and start the simulation again. So what is happening here? Sorry. So it is simply starting from 3 axis because it's a top. I can do it very fast. Okay. So when it is moving down, okay, I had simply changed my tool axis. It's similar towards point option as previously seen. You can able to see here now very clear. The table is moving towards your side. Okay. So you can able to see very clearly. Okay. You can see the that means here it is A angle. It is coming in the minus direction of that. Okay, so the operator can able to see the tool location and what is the finishing it is going on. So it is easy to access the point of the tool location. Okay, but in the same one, go to the simulate again here. Just playing again, simple again. It is a 3-axis one at the top. But when coming down, now you can able to see my A angle is moving positive side. Okay, so what is happening? The swivel bed is just moving away from your site. Okay, so he can't able to see that actually sometime. So it's you can able to convert this kind of configuration very simply. Okay, so I just close this and stop the simulation. I move into the toolpath strategy here. So here I had given in the tool axis, I'm selecting lead lane. Okay. So lead lane, I have simply generated a toolpath. So it is moving the other side. But in the same one, what you can do is go to the dynamic, in the tool page, you go to the dynamic machine control option. Under that, you have option called swap configuration here. Okay, if you swap it, you can see it will get swapped to the other direction. Okay, now the machine tool is moving the other direction. Okay, so it is very simple option to do it. Okay, otherwise you can use the machine dynamic control to rotate it. Okay, we will see in the next one. Okay, in the next example. So this is the first method. And the second method is actually in the toolpath itself, you can do it. Okay, in the toolpath itself, you go to the settings page again. In the tool axis page, again, it is lead lean. And if you come to the machine axis control, okay, you change to your free, from free, you change to fixed direction option. Here I had given minus 90, that means or 270. To change my configuration, you can have two options. Either you can go into our tool option, dynamic machine control, is swap your configuration, or you can change, if you know about azimuth and elevation angle, you can change your fixed direction from your side to the opposite side. It's very simple concept. Okay. So that is what swap configuration. Next, we move to the tool axis. In this one, we are moving to automatic collision avoidance. Okay. So what will happen once you created a 3-axis toolpath and you are going to run a simulation? If there is any warning or it's actually any collision takes place, you can able to simply click automatic collision avoidance option to tilt its axis by its own. Okay, let's see the example of this. Okay, here I'm having Huron KX200 machine. So I just opening my settings first. I will show you what I had done within the toolpath. It's a simple flow line finishing strategy. My tool axis is vertical, but I had not checked on my automatic collision avoidance. Okay. At the same time I had given some reference value as 55 mm. Before that, you just stop the collision. Okay, so just simulate it first now. Okay, now I'm getting start from the vertical axis itself. Okay, I'm moving here. You can see once it comes down here, it is moving. It's 3 axis, simple 3 axis. Okay, so just move away. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so but when you are having some issues, okay, that means if you have some in the collisions takes place. Okay, so what you can just simply change your this one, your tool axis in the tool axis page, check on your automatic collision option. What will happen? It will automatically tilt its axis. Simply, I will slow down again and play it. Okay, you can see here. Its tool axis is getting changed automatically. Okay, then it is moving smoothly. Okay, so that is the concept of automatic collision avoidance option. Okay, so it is simply converting from the vertical to tool axis control of other definitions. So let's move to the next example here. Our next option, it's dynamic machine control. Okay, dynamic machine control is nothing but we are just manually taking the tool axis control and we are rotating the axis by simply dragging its vectors. Okay, so back to our Power Mill page. Okay, here I'm just running the simulation very fast. Okay, simple tool axis is vertical. So when you switch on here, so yeah, collision will take place. So what you have, we can do it here. Instead of creating a new tool path or thinking of changing the tool axis definitions, just stop the simulation there itself. Go to your tool page, dynamic control option. There you can see a two vector spheres like thing come to your control. Okay, so what you have to do is simply rotate it wherever you like to wish, change the location. Okay, you can just see clear if it is everything is fine or you want to change it some more. Okay, then just say press update toolpath. Okay, now what will happen from the tool axis vertical, it automatically changed to fixed direction. We will see later within the toolpath axis. Okay, now you just simply run again here. So you can see the toolpath is running with the same angle. Okay, without any collision. If there is any collision, we can again we can change it. Okay, now we back to our toolpath strategy. If you see the tool axis, I had shown you before it is vertical. Now it is fixed direction. The vector values are changed. Okay, so we can convert a 3-axis toolpath into a positional 5-axis very fast by using the dynamic control option. So the final one is polar milling or drilling option. Okay, so where we are using this, when we have some limitations in the axis, okay, linear axis, we can use this option. Okay, what we can do, we can use the tool axis as vertical. Okay, fine, but under the machine axis control, use your specified orientation as polar. For this, you have to configure the post processor also. Okay, we cannot directly use the existing post processor. Try to use it. If it is already configured, it will work fine. Otherwise, you have to get back to the application peoples to change it to polar. Okay, so we will move to the example here. Okay, move to my location, simulate location. Okay, okay, I will show you before why I'm doing this toolpath. Okay, if you go to the simulation page, select your mission tool, and I'm just show you how the y-axis is limiting with. Okay, you can see if you just move the mission tool position here. Okay, now you can see this. Sorry, just moving my this. Sorry. Okay. Attaching my point, simulation point. Okay. Attach my toolpath. See, there is no limit to complete my toolpath. Okay. Here, this part is away from the y-axis. Okay. But if you see the y-axis inside, it is having the limit. So in this kind of part, also if you see in the table, it's almost the part is covered the whole table. Okay, so in this kind of toolpath, you can able to do it with a simple vertical toolpath with free. But if your linear axis is having some restriction, you go back to your settings. In the machine axis control, instead of free, change to polar. Okay, and you can lock any of the axis. Either you can lock x-axis or y-axis, and you can maybe having some offset also. You can make offset had given some angular also. So how it will run? You can simulate it. You can see just moving slow with my control speed. Okay, you can able to see now it doesn't matter whether you have that linear axis movements control or not, but it will automatically rotates its own z-axis to reach the location. Okay, so it is very simple to create the toolpath. Okay, at the same time, if you go to the page of x, instead of x location x0, you can offset it somewhere in your page. See, offset is 20 mm here. So what will happen if you simulate this toolpath? Okay, you see that toolpath here from here. So it's from here, from the center, it is moved 20 mm. Still, you can do the toolpath movements within from the same location. From x0, instead of x0, you have 20 mm just in the positive direction, and you can able to still create the toolpath. Similarly, you can use x, y, you can lock the axis. Okay, it's not for drilling only. You can do it for the milling also. Okay, sometimes if the table that the axis is not, that means linear axis is not reachable, you can use it for a rotary axis. This milling also, simply you can see the rotary axis is rotating its own end, and the tool axis in y, it is moving slowly. Okay, so you can complete the toolpath without having the linear limits. Okay, so that is the point here. So with that, I'm coming to the end. Maybe we will try to conduct more on y-axis in the upcoming webinars.